Hi, I'm Rob Soklas. Welcome back to my series, EscAvg After Graduation. This series will absolutely help you get to the top 10% of America if you let it, right? If you missed episode 1, start there. But today's episode is all about choice, and choice is an incredibly important concept that a lot of people forget. The truth is, every single choice is your own. And any choice that you make can absolutely change your destiny, right? Oprah put it this way: with every experience, you're painting your own life story, and every single stroke matters. It absolutely does. Thought by thought, choice by choice, you are changing where you end up, because everything works kind of like a domino effect. If you choose to take job A, your life will be very different than if you choose to take job B. If you choose to leave that job at a certain time, if you choose to marry somebody else, right? Every single one of these things turns into a domino effect, and there is no going back. It always moves with time. So we have an amazing power if you think about it. It's a monstrous realization that you have to have. A great example that I have is imagine yourself as a used car salesperson at Harry's Used Cars. You're working in the hot sun under one of those dancing inflatable things, right? Not selling a lot of cars. Your commissions aren't good from month to month to month. You're at the bottom of the leaderboard in the break room. What if one day, while you're eating your bagel at breakfast, you decide to become world class? What would you do differently, right? The minute you make that decision and you're fully committed to it, you start studying about the cars, right? You learn about the financing options. You understand insurance. You read books about how to become a better salesperson. You learn about question-based selling, where you don't immediately start pitching the car to your prospects, but you learn more about them. Suddenly, you become much better at what you do. Your commissions get better. Your track record gets better. Next thing you know, you're applying for jobs over at Mercedes and BMW. You might actually decide to leave car selling and do something else, right? All those choices could add up to an incredibly different outcome if you follow that path, right? So what you do and what you choose to do matters a lot. Don't stumble through life. Every single choice matters. Ultimately, in the heat of the moment, most people forget that they've got the power to choose, and this is an incredibly important concept, right? This isn't unusual, by the way. This is absolutely natural. You forget in the heat of the moment. But the next day or that evening, you have to think about the choices that you believe you've made and decide if you want to undo them. You've got the choice to do that as well, right? The truth is, most people become average in life. And those people they don't feel the power to make choices for themselves. They get a job offer, they take that job offer, and then suddenly they think they're stuck in that job. They are not. They can choose to do something differently, but they don't choose to do that. A great example is people that get up at the last second. Oh my goodness, I have to rush. I got up late. And they rush to their work and they're working all day, and then they rush home and they rush and they rush and they have to do this and they have to do that. No, they don't. They could simply decide to get up half an hour earlier. They could change how their day flows. They could change what their day looks like. Everything is within your own power. A great example that I have is, imagine getting stuck in traffic, or maybe somebody cuts you off in traffic. How do you react to that? Most people are like, I blow my horn, I start waving my fist at them. But you don't have to. You can make a choice on how you react as well. There is no reason to drive up your blood pressure, because you know darn well that if you live in a major metro, you're going to get cut off. You know that you're going to get stuck in traffic. You can decide how you're going to use your time while stuck in traffic. We have the choice at every single step of our lives, right? Warren Buffett, one of the richest guys on the planet, right? He made an incredibly important observation. He said, look, if you had a punch card where you only had 20 punches, which meant you could only make 20 investment decisions, he believes you would be better off than 99% of the people that do day trading, because day traders don't tend to get rich. Investors do. And if you're very deliberate about the decisions that you've made, you tend to be way better off because you work hard to make those decisions. Another important concept is to live in the present. Way too many people think about the far off future and they say, hey, I can't wait till I own an island and I own a Learjet and I do this and I do that. And they don't make the choices that they need to make today to make any of that actually happen. Other people live in the past, thinking about what happened yesterday. That tends to not matter as well. You got to look at what you have and what's the best possible choice that you can make today. And by the way, learn from your mistakes. I made a great mistake once. I was young. I locked my keys in the condo that happened to be on the 5th floor on the beach in Pensacola. And even though I knew I was scared of heights, I thought, I can be my own little version of James Bond. I can climb up on the roof. I can go across the roof, drop in on the open balcony on the other side, and retrieve my keys. Halfway across, I realized that the roof, which was a metal roof, kind of sloped, must have been 170, 180 degrees. It was shockingly hot. I could smell my tennis shoes burning. And I realized this was one of the most foolish decisions I'd ever made. I made it across, thank goodness. I didn't kill myself. But the whole point is, any choice that you make can put yourself in peril, or you can put yourself in a good position. But it woke me up to the fact that, A, here's a guy that's scared of heights, but he made a decision to climb up on the roof anyway. I changed my destiny there. And B, I realized that was a poor decision based on what happened next, right? The whole point is that we all can choose both good things to do and bad things to do, but we have to be awake to the fact that we can actually do that. I then try to conquer my heights, by the way, by making a choice to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I went skydiving on the AFF, or Accelerated Freefall program, where you wear your own chute. I made a choice, by the way, not to be scared. While I was on the ground, I said, I'm going to do this. 100% commitment. I actually had a wonderful jump. It was an awesome experience, but it didn't conquer my fear of heights, but at least now I know, right? Ultimately, the wake-up call is this. Good decisions are absolutely a superpower that all of us have, and it's not that hard to do if you recruit 3 to 5 mentors or advisors that you can talk through your decisions with. Make sure you're making the right decisions at the right time, taking the right prudent risks to succeed. This is an incredibly important moment here. You can decide to follow the habits that we're going to talk about throughout this series, and you can escape average. You can become the top 10%, which is an incredibly good neighborhood to be. You can be the hero of your own story. One choice that I think you should make today is to thrive with change. Most people that are stuck in average say, oh, I don't like change, so therefore they make less choices. You, on the other hand, can say, look, I love change. I thrive with change. I'm great at change. And your life will be better for it. That doesn't mean you take every single choice that comes along. You can decide not to choose at a single moment. You can decide to stay where you're at. But the whole point is that you know that you're empowered to make a difference. Don't forget to subscribe below by clicking on the button for subscribe. This is episode 5. If you haven't seen this series, start with episode 1. Next week, episode 6 comes along. Thanks. Talk to you soon.